What is going on, guys? Running just a minute or two behind. How is everyone doing today in the wonderful world of the internet? We got some faces in the audience, as always, some familiar ones, that is. We got Rhiannon. Good to see you again. Thank you for always being around. Feel free to utilize that group chat. I know you're a little bit of a, what do they call them, like a lurker, a creeper? Just kind of reading all the comments, but not chit-chatting too much, but feel free to dive on in. We got Mr. Exquisite. Always happy to have you, buddy. Mike T, always here. Appreciate you as well, buddy. I was enjoying those ranch Doritos this week. Thank you so much for those. Money from Mars is present, just making dinner for the kiddo and listening, aka I'm not late today for once. I didn't know you had a kiddo. That's awesome. How old? I don't know what it is. Like, sometimes I'll just look at people's profiles, like, you know, the pictures on whatever account, YouTube or Facebook, and I don't know. I'm not saying you wouldn't make a good parent. You just didn't have that parent look to you. You look too much like too happy. I guess that's the best way to put it. You don't give off that I have a child that I am responsible aura. Hello to you, Donna Lockwood. Hope everything's going good. I'm actually going to be in your area tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So if I end up hitting any thrift stores out in that area, I'll send you a DM and we'll get together. 13, holy cannoli! So you got like more than a kid. They're like a preteen or a teenager already. So you got 5 more years till freedom, right? But yeah, thank you to everyone who took the time to be here tonight. We should have a pretty chill show tonight. It's going to be predominantly pickups and light, very, very light news. There was a whole bunch of stuff that did happen, but most of it isn't even really worth covering, to be quite frank. It's not really going to help anyone in their business. Plus, we might be making some additional fundamental changes to the show, but I mean, don't I do that every other week, it seems? She's in the picture with you. Really? Oh, you know what it is? I never clicked into the picture. I didn't think that was your daughter. Well, good on you. Good on you. Big smiles too. It's always good to see. So many sad kids out there nowadays. Sounds good. Good to hear that. But yeah, Donna, it would be great to connect with you. I haven't ran into you since I last ran into you at a thrift store. It would be good to connect up again. And I've been finding way too much stuff, so I'd like to give it to somebody else. I'd like to go thrifting and just get a couple of items for me and give the rest away, to be completely honest. I am too happy to have a kid. LOL, so true. You know, man, there's just really no place to hide nowadays. I don't know if you guys, I mean, you have to be under a rock not to hear about what happened in Beirut, but man, I got into an argument with somebody yesterday, which, I mean, let's be honest, I like to fight with people sometimes, but I got into an argument with somebody over like how the problems here in America, the manufactured ones that are just so damn insignificant compared to like actual problems in the rest of the world. And then I watched this video. It was really fascinating. I watched this HD 4K restored, color graded, stabilized, speed corrected everything video from 1902. It was like 1902 Germany. I just thought it was absolutely fascinating to see, and it helped kind of put things into a little bit of perspective for me, in the sense that all the people in that video, their entire world existed around them. Just everything that they could see. The people that they talk to, the people that they run into, the people that they meet, the people within their town, maybe a person from a town over, they know of a family member from a town over, but nothing else in the world is of any concern to them whatsoever. And I see people get so wrapped up now in things that are of no concern to them. And that's part of why we're making a little bit of a fundamental shift with what we're doing here, because, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, earnings reports are fun to tear through and learn a little bit about, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not going to change much for either one of us. So I'm going to focus more in on making some stuff that I enjoy making and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that here after top of the hour. But again, I thank everyone for being here. We're going to be getting kicked off here in a second. If you have any questions, now's a great time to jot them down or write them in or comment them or do whatever you want to do. It'll be a good one. La Perfumery. Hello again to you. Thanks for dropping in. If you're here in the audience and you haven't said hello yet, go ahead and do that for me now, and we'll give you a lovely greeting as soon as we get this show started. But if you haven't, grab your popcorn, your notepad, whatever the heck you feel you might need tonight. If you're playing a drinking game, today's word is arbitrage. What is going on, guys? Jay Kraft here with the Facebook group BOLO Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is August 9th, 2020, and normally I say we have a huge show in store for you, but I would actually be lying to you. I am going to be giving you a very mediocre show today, but it's important that you stick around. As always, there's going to be things to be learned. We're going to be talking about some more what I call mangled payments, eBay's managed payments and the issues that they're having. We're also going to have a bit of a discussion regarding eBay's 25th year, what they're calling a SellerBration. But the bulk of the show is we're going to be looking at pickups, and we're going to be taking your questions throughout the show. So thank you to everyone who took the time to be here live tonight. I do appreciate it, and an extra special thank you to all the patrons we have to help keep this show on air, which is one of the things I wanted to talk with you about at some point tonight. Now, if you missed out on our previous shows 2 weeks ago, we've been doing them every 2 weeks. We talked about how eBay sold off their classified brands. We also talked about updates to eBay's insertion fees. I talked about managed payment penalties and what's going on with those. Some people have started getting affected more so now than what we talked about 2 weeks ago. But we can touch base on that again if you have any questions. And we also did a really, really solid masterclass on the topic of offers to buyers. And I see a lot of people who are misusing offers to buyers. They're just blasting them out whenever they come through, 3% off, 5% off, not adding a message. They don't really understand the concept of selling themselves, their brand, their product to the end user and how to increase their conversions. Now, we did actually have I believe her name was Andy. We had someone lovely post a post within our Facebook group, and if you haven't joined it, we'll put the link in the comments for you. And they had talked about how they started using some of the tips that we talked about on that last show and started to see engagement, started to see conversions on their items. So if you haven't gone back and seen that yet, we actually released it as a standalone as well. It's Sunday's video from last week, and it says Masterclass Offer to Buyers, and it's a 20-minute video, and I kid you not, okay? You will see a genuine uptick in your conversions. There's no like BS from some of the other YouTubers out there, you know, that the 10 tips to increase your sales. This is actual bona fide classical salesman training done in text format, so that way you can actually convert people who are watching your items and viewing your items to actual buyers. Every now and then I run into somebody who talks about, I've got 5,000 items online. We know this guy who's the buy it now doctor, whoever, what's his name? I don't even know. But this guy has like 5,000 items, 4,000 items listed sometimes. And, remember, we don't get paid for creating a catalog. Okay. There's no money in having a catalog. We get paid on conversion. It's about converting those items across. This is why I really love sharing certain parts of the process with you, is because you're able to see the items that I'm actually getting. And in real time, you can go on to the eBay store that I have. You can see the photos. You can see how I've titled it, how I've described it, what I'm doing to convert those people. And then I post those sales within our Bolorama group. And if you're a member of that group, you can post, you can comment, you can engage with other people within that group, and you can actually see from the front end all the way to the back end when the item converts. And some people are a little bit shocked when they see some what I consider to be dumb items selling for dumb money. I just sold a stuffed animal less than 2 hours ago for $90. It's a dumb item that I paid $1 for. And the same day I sold a Little Mermaid handbag that I got for free, and I sold that for $63. And the little shocked face emojis that somebody left there. And yeah, people are paying dumb money for really basic items. And that's kind of what we're here for. We're here to show people the types of things that you can be going after that you might not be thinking about before. That's kind of what it's about, kind of broadening your horizons, getting you to think a little bit more. So I wanted to talk with you guys about this show that we're doing right now, and the future of this show. I've been giving a little bit of thought and a little bit of consideration. I do business consulting with people, and I talk with them about things like this all the time. I say, if you have a brand, and the brand isn't growing, if the brand isn't scaling, sometimes you have to restructure, you have to try new things, or you have to come to terms with the fact that the market simply may not be responding to what you're selling. And that's going to happen sometimes. You could have what you perceive to be an amazing product. I had a coupon book company, and I ran that for, I don't know, 6 months, and I put $15,000 into it. And my computer right now is being held up by a case of those coupon books that I spent good money on. You know, it's being propped up another 8 inches higher. And that company I had to can because I realized it's not going anywhere. The market isn't responding to it, and I can try and drag this bad boy along for the ride and cross my fingers and hope and pray, or I can try and do a restructure and throw some more money at it, yada, yada, yada. But sometimes it's just not going to work. And with that, I think that this show might be there as well, which is terribly unfortunate. You know, the writing's on the wall. You know, we've been looking at the numbers week over week, and it's just not scaling. And, you know, we've tried some fundamental changes, and we've tried, you know, different segments, and, you know, tried advertising in different ways and different marketing, and trying to do word of mouth, trying to generate more Patreon revenue, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, Patreon's down as low as it's been in probably 12 months, and engagement hasn't gone up even a bit. And it just doesn't seem like anything's really sticking. So with that being said, we may be wrapping up this show at the end of the year. Traditionally, we take December off, and we usually have like a one big shebang Christmas special. And I may do like a full-fledged with the video assets and the green screen and the big whiteboard and everything. I might do a full-fledged production piece for Christmas, but there's a chance come 2021 we may not be doing this end of it anymore. Now, for those of you who are patrons and you're receiving all the wonderful perks within the group and everything like that, all of that stuff is still going to be available, you know, and we'll host it on the back end, and I'll still probably release videos, but there's a small chance that I may make other stuff. You know, it's hard to explain unless you're on the side where you're actually doing production and making this stuff, but there's certain things that are really fun to make and really exciting to create. If any of you saw, like, you know, some of those the little dumb things that I make, the disc golf tutorial and some of the stuff that I've shot in the garage, a little bit of special effects here and there, those things are an absolute blast to create. But sometimes it's really difficult to get that same motivation for training content. And even more so when that training content isn't really reaching a large enough audience to feel like it's worth the time. You know, even last week I talked and I said, hey, let's run some ads, you know, put an ad up online, contact me, work with me, we'll help you generate a custom ad, won't charge you anything, yada, yada, yada. 0 people reached out. And it's just, it just kind of feels a little bit lost at times. To do this when there's so much help available and people aren't taking it. And on that note, I actually took another job. Those of you who don't know, you may have heard that ding right now. I got to cover this up, but I'm actually a census field supervisor for the 2020 census, and I'm going to be doing that clean through the end of September. And it pays an incredible amount of money. We're talking like well over like $1,500 to $2,000 a week. And today, even, I was asked to come in and teach a class. I do classes for enumerators who go out. And today's show, I missed out on a 7-hour shift with Sunday premium pay. I would have made over $200 going and teaching that class, probably closer to $300 because I'm already at 40 hours on the week. And those of you who don't know, I already put in a 40-hour work week this week. So with those types of things in play, and the e-com, you know, the other end of it, I just make so much more money not doing this that unless the funding actually gets to where it needs to be, it's going to be very, very difficult to justify doing something that doesn't bring a large level of joy because I'm not working with as many people as I'd like to be working with. You know, with the census, I'm working with literally 200, 300 different people at one time, all towards the same goal. Give me 1 second. Got an employee who needs to go home early, but I'll deal with that here later. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just nice to be part of a different thing. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about news. Like I said, I got 4 bins worth of pickups this week. I've been absolutely crushing the sales. Yesterday I did about $1,000 in sales, and it's because I took the time and I sat down, got my items listed. Every single week I get caught up on my back stock, and I strongly recommend you do the same. If you've got death piles, this is a better time now than ever to actually get those death piles caught up. First thing we're going to talk about real quick is managed payments. Now, I know a bunch of you got pushed over into it, and there's still actually, believe it or not, a whole bunch of you who haven't even gotten the letter, gotten the notification yet. And we said that they're going to be doing this in waves. Now, the first one was everyone had to be on by, I believe, July 21st or 31st. They want everyone on by then. And the people who missed that deadline, they actually started seeing penalties on their account. Everything from not being able to list more, not being able to revise, to even listing suppression. And I was talking with somebody who says, my listings aren't even showing up. I've gone from doing, 5 to 10 sales a day to only doing 1 sale a day. And we've also heard of other sellers who have been pushed into it. Pretty much they had that July 31st ultimatum, and their listings that did not qualify, we're talking about coins, adult goods, bullion, their listings actually just got taken straight off of the platform, and they were told that due to being on managed payments, you're not going to be able to have these items on the platform, which is something that we had talked about before. So there's a whole host of restricted categories that, I don't know if it's still Adyen or not, may or may not have the clearance to be able to facilitate those sales just because of the inherent risk behind them. So it's kind of going to be an interesting thing to see what other platform might step up and take the place to fill that gap where consumers are going to be wanting to take their items. We have sites like Ruby Lane that specialize in antiques and collectibles, and sites like Etsy that specialize in handmade goods. If somebody was to make a spot for people to sell their adult novelties and their bullions and coins, or all the stuff that the other sites won't let you sell, it could be pretty damn successful, in all honesty. Now, there's also some people that are pretty upset because there's a managed payments group that you get to be a part of within the eBay community. The eBay community forums, there's a section within there, but to actually get added in there, first you have to be on managed payments. So I can't even see the forum yet. And then once that happens, it's about a 7-day lead time for the person who's in charge of it to actually get you added in. Now, keep in mind, this is the only place you can go to for customer care in regards to managed payments unless you are a concierge seller. Now, we got word that the Wave 2 people they're going to be bringing them in by August 31st is what they're saying. And this is Wave 2. And I'm going to be honest with you guys again, I am not Wave 2 either. So I'm actually genuinely thrilled about the fact that I'm not going to be part of this next one, and it's going to be pushed a little bit further back for me. You can go ahead and predict that Wave 3 is probably going to be what? August 31st, then November 31st. And like I said before, they've gone from talking about all sellers being on managed payments by the end of 2020 to most sellers being on managed payments by the end of 2020. So it's going to be an interesting period of time right now as this continues to go forward. But the last little bit regarding managed payments, and I haven't verified this is just chatter off e-commerce bites, and I did talk with a couple other people and they told me that they've heard a similar thing. Now with eBay, traditionally when you sell something, your money gets funneled through PayPal and then you get paid right away. Now with managed payments, it has to get funneled through your bank. Now certain people's banks are already taking a 2 to 3 day lead time just to be able to get them paid. Now me, myself, I like the idea of getting paid right away. And what they're saying, rumor is that managed payments is only going to have payouts available 5 days a week. So what does that mean for you? That means that if you are a managed payments seller, that you may not actually receive your money every single day of the week. That weekends may be exempt from being able to receive those funds. So we've talked about this before, and I've said this many a times, that your business should be set up in a way, sorry, I'm moving windows around. Your business should be set up in a way to where your lead time should not be impacted by a few days wait. And I really do mean that when I say that. You should not be in a position where your business is going to come to a grinding halt because you have to wait a couple of days to be able to get your money. Make sure you save some money. And we're going to talk a little bit about money saving later in the show. It's a subject that I'm passionate about, and it's after I had a recent discussion with somebody that I felt to be a good thing to talk about. Now, one of the other things that's going on in the world of eBay. And eBay is really the only news that I got for you. I did hear that Amazon has opened up the floodgates again and are allowing people to send in non-essential goods, which is great for me because I've been stacking them in the corner. I got boxes of stuff to send in. So if you have been holding back, you're definitely going to want to fire those in. But every other company has just kind of been sitting back and, just letting the other companies do their thing and make their money. eBay is doing a 25-year celebration. And it's going to be a virtual celebration. Why? Because they canned eBay Open. And it would have been really great to go to eBay Open's 25th anniversary. I mean, that would have been a huge spectacle to try and be a part of, just to say that you were actually there. And if you haven't done so yet, you go to ebay25.com and you can actually link up your username and register for the event. And the event is going to be a live presentation. You can expect some pre-recorded content. You can expect to hear from people like Sweetnam, Yanone. You probably hear from, I can't remember who that lady's name is. She presents really, really poorly on the eBay for Business channel. But you probably hear from her and a handful of other people within the eBay team. And then they're also taking people's images. If you want to send in an image, you have to consent for them to use it as well. That is reflective of your 25 years with eBay or any amount of time that you've been with them. Now, when you sign up for it, if you're able to, I'll be honest, there's 505 errors for the first 3 days, but if you are able to sign up, they do ask for your t-shirt size, which leads me to believe that they're just going to send everyone t-shirts. And trust me when I say this, you'll probably see pictures posted up on social media 2 weeks in advance of people cracking open their boxes before the event begins. And you'll probably have the surprise spoiled for you by the time your box even gets there. But I actually had to call into Concierge to be able to get added on because the site was so darn busted. And I'll tell you the same thing I told them. It's probably because eBay never gives anything away for free. And the first time they give something away for free, everyone's biting to be able to get their hands on it, that it crashed the site. And I guess the real question, though, is, is the event even going to be worth going to? Now, I kind of have to just because I'm in the industry that I'm in right now, but I wouldn't really expect anything big to happen. I don't expect them to be dropping any crazy information or updates to the site or any stuff that's actually going to be meaningful for the sellers. But who knows? Because eBay Open is generally an event where they do drop some bombshells. Last year we learned about, obviously, managed payments, which wasn't received well. But we also learned about multi-user access, which was a nice little add-on to the site. We learned about new protections for sellers, as long as you follow along by eBay's very specific terms on what you can and can't do. But as a whole, is it going to be worth it? I don't know. If you're just a regular seller, I'd say go ahead and skip it. If you're somebody who actually needs this information, go ahead and sit down and watch it. If you don't want to watch it and you want the TLDR, then just come back and find me. Now, what I want to know, though, is will they do anything special for their serious veteran sellers? 10-year, 15, 20-year, and 25-year sellers. Are they going to do anything for them? If you've been a seller for 25 years, you deserve a damn plaque on your wall. You deserve a call from Jamie himself saying thank you. I don't care what your volume is. If you've been around for that long, you deserve a little thank you. But odds are the guy who started last month and the guy who started 25 years ago are probably going to receive the same actual perks. Now, guys, remember this is a live Q&A. Obviously, if you have any questions during the show, don't be afraid to ask, and we'll be happy to get them answered. I got a message from Ken Van Tassel. No swag from me. It was just for early birds. Wow, that's kind of messed up. I'm sorry to hear that. So I guess you may not be able to register to be able to get the swag any longer. It's an absolute shame. Well, if the shirt's no good, I'll go in and throw it in a box and I'll mail it out to you for free. Okay. In tiny bits, we got eBay launches loans via a brand called Lending Point. Now, if you guys don't remember, we had a company that offered us loans that were actually very, very competitive. The company was called PayPal, and we called it PayPal Working Capital. And it worked really nicely because they would loan you money based on the amount of volume that you did through their actual site, through your eBay sales, and then they would let you pay it back with no real timeline. Take as long as you want, and we're just going to collect a percentage off your sales until you pay it back. And I know some people that have a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 revolving balance with working capital. That's just how they do their business. And I constantly get called. They offer me $20,000 worth of working capital to start scaling my brand. It's wildly beneficial for those people who need it. Now, the difference with this one is that they're only going to lend it to you for 2 years, okay? And you're going to be on their terms to be able to do it, and it's actually running through a bank. Now, the reason that PayPal was nice was for those of you who either weren't using banks or for those of you who didn't have an established relationship with a bank, you could get a very large line of credit without having to go through extensive credit checks. They could just look and say, oh, I can see every dollar you've made and spent over the last decade. Yeah, sure. From what I'm seeing here, yeah, I could give you $5,000. Not a problem. So with this one, it's going to be a little bit different. Like I said, there's terms and such in the way that are going to slow down your progress a bit. And at that point, honestly, if they're only going to give you 2 years, just go to your bank, get a secure loan yourself. eBay also had a shareholder call. Normally, we do these very large, extensive breakdowns on the shareholder calls, but I'll be completely honest with you. It's not worth talking about. There's nothing in there that was really of interest. The number of sellers are up, obviously. Profits are up, obviously. The only thing, though, is that they didn't mention that it had anything to do with the damn pandemic that's going on. Obviously, people are going to be going to the internet right now to be buying for the very first time. But just like with the fidget spinners of, was it 2017? I don't see eBay doing a damn thing right now to try and actually retain those people that are coming to the platform. But as I said before, we're in a very, very interesting place in the economy as a whole, in the sense that there is so many people that have new money right now, and lots of it. If you have collectible goods, now is the time to start liquidating your stuff. I don't care what it is. Your Pokemon cards, Garbage Pail Kids, old basketball, baseball, whatever the heck, Beanie Babies, whatever type of collectible good you feel you have that's on the uptick right now, because all collectibles are up, you need to get those things listed and get them sold. Don't have that mindset and that foolish ideology that they're going to continue to rise forever, because that's not how all collectibles work. If they're up right now, get them listed, get them sold. And I told my buddy this. I'm like, I'm happy and thrilled that all these people have this new money. I'm just going to sit on the sidelines with my net out, and I'm going to try and catch as many of these free dollars as I can, because they're going to be a limited time thing. I've been selling some of the dumbest items that I've ever sold in my entire life this week, because people have ridiculous amounts of extra money. Get yourself positioned to start collecting that money. You're going to see some items. I'm going to show them to you today, and you're going to be blown away with the fact that people are actually buying these items. Donna says they have been advertising more. Yes, they certainly have. And the advertising is great. Like I said, it gets people to the site, and it gets people to either try it out for the first time, or it says, hey, I forgot that eBay was a thing, or I didn't know eBay did things more than auctions, and it kind of reminds them what's going on. But if not much is done to keep them there, that's the issue. Amazon does a lot to keep people within the ecosystem, whether it be their per year premium cost to get people underneath of that umbrella, whether it be a bolt-on services like the Amazon TV. I can't even remember what it's called, but they have that Amazon streaming service. They have Amazon, the grocery options when you go to Whole Foods. There's a lot that Amazon does to keep people within the ecosystem. It's the same thing with Apple. Once people start on Apple products, whether it's their iPhone, their iMac, iPad, all those different things that they have, and then they give them the iTunes and the cloud services, and they get them within this ecosystem, it's a very hard thing to break. But with eBay's always been a come and go thing. There's no reason for me to continue doing business with eBay after the first time I've done it. If something is cheaper someplace else, I have no brand loyalty towards eBay. With Amazon and with Apple, it's a little bit of a different story at times. There's a bit more brand loyalty within those equations. So I don't know what eBay is going to do to actually keep hold of those buyers. It's going to be interesting to see. So, like I said, guys, not much news for this week. If there's any other stuff that you heard about that you do want to talk about, by all means, let me know. We're going to just jump right into pickups, because that's the bulk of what I have for you today. I actually have 2 weeks worth of items, quite a bit of stuff, and it's across a wide gamut of different categories, probably about 30 different categories. Anita Funita, good to see you. Happy to have you around. So first up, I don't know where I really hope I didn't throw out the cardboard for. Oh no, there it is. This is a Halo 3D Master Chief costume. Now this is an official one from Microsoft, from Bungie, the makers of Halo. And right now, if you go online, I believe the cheapest one is around $30. I have mine listed for $50, and the reason I priced it that way is because this is actually a really hard costume to come by. It's been out of production for almost a decade now, and somebody will pay me $50 for this costume. We have Halloween coming up. I do not think people realize how many families are going to be going to the internet exclusively to do their costume shopping. One less trip to a store. And of all places, the last place you want to be is at a damn costume store where every single person is touching the same things over and over and over again. Or having to do your shopping in a way where you can't try on the costume in the store, you can't open the packaging in the store, and guess what? I might as well do that shopping at home, right? So when you do get your costumes, if you find them anywhere, start listing them aggressively. List them high and expect to get that price. Don't be afraid to be number 2, 3, 4, 5 in line, because when the time comes, trust me, number 5 in line will still sell as well. If you got quality pieces, take the time and make them look good and get them listed up online. Chris says working capital was not revolving, it was a one-time fee less than 5%. What I meant earlier when I said revolving is that I know people who have done their $10,000, paid it all off, went back, got another 10,000, did the whole same thing, shebang over and over again. That's what I meant by revolving, but thank you for pointing that out. This is a surprising one. I've actually found this 2 or 3 times now. These are White Wing Excellent Gliders. These are pre-cut design gliders by somebody, Yasukai Ninomiya, and he's like, I guess, like a world famous paper airplane designer. These do really well. This is going to fetch anywhere between $30 to $40 as a brand new kit, and when you find these, you can almost always get them for $1 to $3. You just want to pop them open. They have a plastic baggie on the inside, and you just want to make sure that that baggie isn't fiddled with, and if it's still nice and sealed, it's easy money. This is volume 1. I believe there's 6 different volumes, and they all fetch good money. They're all hard to find. This will sell, and when it does, I'll post it on the site too. Check this beauty out. I was actually going to make a post on this. This is a Pokemon plush. And if you're not sure, sometimes when you see these wild and crazy plushies, we always say just check the butt tag real quick. This one actually reads Pokemon Center, but this wasn't one that came from the actual Pokemon Center in Japan. This was an American release with the Pokemon Center branding on them. This came out in Toys R Us, I want to say right around, probably right around 2015 is when this one came out, and this was an expensive toy when it did come out. I believe this was about $40 retail at USPS, or not USPS, at oh my god, Toys R Us. Thank you. And yeah, right now this lists for about $80. So this is a fantastic little piece. If you come across any type of Pokemon, you can usually type in to Google a bit of a descriptor. I had to put reindeer antler Pokemon to be able to figure out what this was, but I was able to get it listed right away. And again, quality photos will get this item sold right through. And I took a little bit of a stunner on it here. I can even show you guys real quick too. And also I was going to ask, has everyone else had some ridiculous sales this weekend? Because I think I have somewhere in the area of about 20 packages going out. Yeah, look at that photo. Again, no post-production work, just a nice clean lighting, nice clean setup. I picked this up, another one of these leather woodworking kits. I've ran across quite a few of these things, and the kit number itself was rather meaningless to me. This thing is heavy, and when I opened it up, there was a full set of letters. There was probably about 15 to 20 different punch pieces, tons of different little leather straps, and usually what I'll do is I'll show these items on air, and then I'll list them over the next following days, but I'm actually going to be taking a 3-day vacation, and I'm really pumped about it. So I front-loaded all that work, got all my items listed again. But as always, if you see something you like, let me know. We can work out a deal for you as well. I paid $4 for this. I believe we have this up at auction with an opener of $60, just based on the contents alone. Some really good stuff inside of here. If you missed out on our post on Facebook, there's a really funny item that was included in this box that we showed on the group. And if you want to see that, definitely go check it out. So I picked this up. It's a Winegard carry-out tripod mount. And all I needed to see on the front of the box was that this had anything to do with outdoors, anything to do with RVing. RV goods are exceptionally hot right now. Like, everyone is looking for these types of items. This thing has everything inside of it. It lists for $85. I picked it up for $4. Absolutely fantastic price. And it's basically a portable tripod. I don't know why the heck it's worth so much, but it is very sturdy, and it is hefty. It's probably about 6 pounds, but I think I can get this out to maybe a flat rate medium, but we'll see. But great little pickup as well. The beautiful girlfriend suggested that we get this one, and I kind of agree with her on it as well. This is a very cute key holder with shelf, and it says, welcome to our cabin on it. It's actually got screen door material here across the back. It's all hand assembled. I don't know if it was a mass market piece or an exceptionally well done like folk art piece or like just a homemade piece, but it has the characteristics of something that was mass produced, but maybe not to a point where you would see it on a shelf for 20 or 30 bucks. I picked this up for about $4. I think we have it listed right around 60 bucks, and partly has to do with the fact that this is solid wood, pretty big dimensions, and it's a very, very high quality piece too. So if you're looking for that really cute decor piece, just let me know. And you guys will have to forgive me. I am very low energy today. It's been a long, long week. I think I put in somewhere in the area of about 80 hours worth of work this week. So this is the tail end of it, the final drag before good night's sleep, and then going out of town tomorrow. Picked up these really cute bags. Normally we don't go after smalls like this, the trinket bags. And when I say we, mean the missus. We don't go after things like this just because of the amount of time that would go into it to create a single listing. But when we were at the swap meet, we were able to find, I think they came in bags of 20, and I think we got close to 20 bags. And they were $1 each is what they were selling them for. And they were Amazon return items, and they were described as Egyptian-styled like trinket bags or something to that effect. And what we're going to be trying to do with them, and I think we've already ran the listings, is we're going to try and bang them out on Mercari. And we're going to use different sets of keywords, party bags, gift bags, trinket bags, fairy bags, Egyptian bags, yada, yada, yada. And we're going to aim to do lots of 8 for $12. And last week we talked about the psychology of numbers, and one of the things that we didn't touch on is how working with confusing numbers sometimes can help you actually convert the sale. If somebody can't very quickly figure out how much it's going to cost them for each one, or the number that they hypothesize based on the numbers you've provided with them is actually cheaper than what you're actually offering it for, you have a higher chance of converting the sale. This is something that I used to do when I did newspaper subscriptions as well. So 8 bags for $12, most people can't figure that out in their head quick enough, and they're just going to make the determination, does this seem like a good enough value for them? It's about $1 something a bag. Most people are going to pull the trigger if they actually like what they're looking at, but we have enough sets that we're probably going to be running this for the next year. Another question for you. We noticed the other day that Mercari has a relist button on the app right now. We can't get it to work. Can any of you guys get that button to work? It is not activated on my my app to actually do anything when I press it. Got this cool little game, Connexy. This is actually about a $20, $25 game, but I'm missing the die, so I'm just going to be selling the pieces only inside of here as a potential expansion set for anyone who's interested in it. That's the goal of it, just kind of bang it out the door. I was going back and I was actually looking for a different item and stumbled across this one. A 2-pack of Culligan filters, and I keep got to tell people this. Do not sell off-brand filters online anymore. I don't care if they're Amazon, eBay, or Mercari. Only work with first-party filters. Always make sure that they're new and sealed. This 2-pack is listed for $70 right now. The last 2 sold for around the $50 to $60 range, but the market is very much so thinning out on these, and they're getting much, much harder to find. This item will sell. I was actually going back looking for something else and then stumbled across this. $4 in again. My thrift stores had gone from being really, really bad to being some of the best thrifting that I've done in probably 6+ months. I don't know if it's because I'm going at a different time, or if maybe my competitors are just no longer going there anymore, or they're just making way too much money off unemployment that they're not willing to try. But I've been finding lots of little gems like this, quick little $40, $50 bills. I got a real thick stack of inks. These are all Epsons. They're all vacuum sealed except for one, and then I got this one too. I got all of this together plus a bunch of pens and pencils and a notebook that we're going to look at in a second, and I paid $4 for everything. This one already sold for 20 bucks, and then we probably have about another $40, $50 worth of inks here as well. What state and city do you live in, Kathy? Because I've heard people say that before. We have a couple of thrift stores here that are absurdly overpriced, but if you find the right ones, the pricing is going to be okay. And if you haven't done so yet, we talk with people about mapping out their town and accurately mapping it out. If you do not have a spreadsheet put together that documents every single thrift store in your town, every single rummage sale, every single church store, yada, 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 okay, then you could be missing out on lots of money because you're not effectively sourcing. And I know you're like, oh, I know them all off the top of my head. Well, having an effective plan as far as like which days to go to, what's the name of the manager who works there, what days do they do their restocks, keeping track of all that stuff, that's a big game changer. In mid-Michigan, you got a lot more problems than your thrift stores right now out there in Michigan. But I actually haven't worked in that area, so I am not 100% sure how Michigan is. But if anyone has worked that area, I'd love to know. But yeah, no, we talk with people. We do these consulting calls. And this is what's really like grinding me, is that, the amount of services that I can offer here to bring somebody's business from $10,000, $20,000 a year to $80,000, $70,000 a year. They're there. Just people just aren't jumping on it. And I don't know if it's me and the way I'm presenting it, or if people are just, I don't know, afraid to spend a few bucks to make bucks. And I even talk with brands that could genuinely use a little bit of rebranding help. They're doing so good. And I go to them and I say, hey, $100, $200, I can talk to you about the points where you're really missing the mark with your consumers, where you're branding, where, I see some companies using like glitch effects, for instance, and their company does not need videos like that use glitch effects or heavy transitions for no good reason. And it's just stuff like that, and then I talk with resellers. I talk with them. I'm like, are you doing effective sourcing in your area? Do you have, like for me and Daniel, we have a swap meet spreadsheet that we're putting together right now. It documents every single swap meet in Central California, shows how many miles away they are, what days that they're open, how good is the swap meet as a whole, like based on our own personal, preferences. And based on how good is it, how frequently should we be going to that swap meet? So you can just, any day of the week, if you have your thrift store one, you have your swap meet one, you say, okay, I feel like working today. You pull out your spreadsheets and you say, okay, my best chance of making money is going here and here and here today, and I'm probably going to do pretty well. So if you're taking things like that into account, yeah, you're going to be a lot more successful than those around you. My throat's got something funny going on this week. Here's the notebook that I was telling you about that came with the other stuff. It's actually a Juicy Couture brand notebook. I believe the cheapest comp was at $25.99. I priced mine out at $19.99. I think that she's just shooting for the moon. And her photo is horrible as well. We're going to do a discussion video. I think that's going to be the next standalone video that I put out. And we're going to be describing the difference between a good listing and a bad listing. And I'm just going to grab random people's listings off the internet. And we're going to talk about what makes a great listing and what makes a bad listing. Because there's a lot of you out there that have horrid listings right now. And you're going to learn a lot of things with that as well. Especially when it comes to creating great comps. Understanding what your competitors' listings look like and pricing competitively with them based on their listings is something that you can do to also increase your conversions as well. I don't know if there's still a captive market for things like this. This certainly feels like one of those dying markets. This is a beautiful little vanity set. It has the mirror, it has the brush, it has the comb. They're all that faux gold finish. They have their original plastics on them. It has the nice box. I know that even then they were doing rebrand plays where certain companies like, Harrods or Hermes or whomever would just get a better looking box and they could jam the price up on stuff like this. This regular generic set is probably going to be worth $40 to $60. It's staged really, really well. The listing came out looking nice, but it's one of those things. Be prepared to have an item like this sit for a year before somebody actually pulls the trigger on it. It's nothing that people are actively going out of their way and trying to get. If you're going to have to park any money into it, don't park more than like $5 into an item like this. I think I spent $4, and I wouldn't recommend even spending more than that. Another real stupid item, and I say this a lot, and some people are confused like why an item is stupid. It's stupid to me because I can't believe somebody would pay whatever the heck I'm going to sell it for. Plain and simple. I don't get it because I look at money a lot differently. These are bench dogs, bench cookies. And I guess what they are is you load them onto your workbench and then you can put stuff on top of it and create a level surface that won't slide around. Whatever that might be. It might be a piece of machinery or something that you're working on. These 4 cookies together are worth about $30. People are actually paying $30 for these 4-bench cookies. I don't know if there's maybe no generic comp for it, but I didn't see anything when I was looking. I'm just happy that I know somebody's going to buy these. Consumables, guys. Have we talked about this yet? Consumables is a fantastic category that you want to make sure you go after. I don't care what it is. It can be old cleaning supplies. It can be old air fresheners. It can be candles. It can be anything that somebody uses, and then once it's exhausted, they're going to have to replace it with another one. And this is a Velita Pro Twist Plus refill mop head. Okay, this is totally a consumable. This is going to get beat up, used, no longer reusable again. Somebody's going to want to get a new one to attach to their mop. These sell anywhere between 20 and 25 bucks. Keep your eyes peeled for any type of consumable item. Anyone want to take a guess what this bad boy already sold for? This is a Create 365 Happy Planner. This is a 13-hole punch for creating planner punches to put inside of your planner organizer. Anyone want to take a guess on the sale price? We've got somebody guessing 50 bucks. Any other guesses out there? So when I went and bought this thing, I looked up the comps, and I'm like, man, people are buying these bad boys up, and they were paying. Got another guess for 30. I'm like, I think the sale prices were anywhere between like 30, 40 bucks, and I'm like, that's not bad. You know, I would be happy with that. And then the price that I paid was $4. And then as I was looking around, I'm like, man, there's one at auction right now, and the one at auction's already at 40 bucks. Okay, well, I'm greedy, but I'm not stupid greedy. Okay, so I went ahead and listed it up, and I said, you know what? I think somebody's going to buy it at this price, because we don't ever want to price ourselves out. This is an important thing to remember. Yes, we can shoot for the moon on certain items. We can say, yeah, I want full tilt, full pop on a certain item. But that, you know, if you price yourself out too much, like let's say this Harry Potter book, for instance, I'm priced out on it right now. I don't care though. Okay, that book right there got appraised at $2,000 to $2,500 for the one there in the end, and that was from Heritage Auctions. And I went ahead and listed that bad boy online for $10,000. Am I going to scare away any single person who was maybe prepared to spend $3,000? Possibly. And the same thing rings true of dumb items like this, hole punches and such. Yeah, if you price the market out too high, and let's say I asked $100, the person who actually spent 60 bucks on it might not be interested in even trying to negotiate or trying to go after it. It might dissuade them from even making that decision. So this sold for 60 bucks already. This wasn't even online all of 2 or 3 days, I think it is. How late are you, Daniel? Daniel, you are 41 minutes late this week. Same time every other Sunday. Oh. I got this cute Fisher-Price apple. Notably, the one with the short stem. I guess there's people who collect short stem and long stem, and these ones were already... The planner community is real. You guys send me some details on that. These apples, based on their condition, sell anywhere between $20 and $30. Really cool Fisher-Price piece from the early 1970s. There's people who want these. Teachers are going to put them on their desk. Obviously, teachers aren't going to be thinking about those types of things right now. So if you do see them, don't go heavy on them. Don't spend more than like $2 on one of these right now. There is a lot of them out there. So make sure yours stands out from the crowd if you want to get it sold. Great photos are going to push this item through for you. I've got what equates to about 8 pounds worth of black licorice. This is Kookaburra licorice, 10-ounce packs. These sell for about $15, $18 on eBay. Some guy had them out at the swap meet. He wanted, I think they were 2 for $1. That's what he was selling them for. Definitely within date. They're good till 2021. They were an Amazon return, and that's how he ended up with them. I had no problem buying them. I know some people will overlook food at the swap meet. If it's expired, yeah, for the most part, you want to overlook it. However, I've sold like $1,000 worth of expired gum last Christmas. Really anything is possible. These are going to sell. I have it set up with a quantity discount. If you buy more than one, you get 5% off. You buy more than two, you get 10. Buy more than three, you get 15. That really should motivate some bulk sales, increase the margins on the product as well. Don't be discouraged if you see food items out there at your retail setting even, or if you're out at the swap meet and somebody has pallets of this stuff just lying around. Good money in good foods, especially right now when people want to order food directly to their house. Got a bunch of these as well. These Phillips Sonicare 3-packs. I don't know why these were out there, but again, Amazon returns. I looked over the package just to make sure that everything was authentic. These sell for $12 each. I picked up 14 units. All 14 units plus a handful of those other bags cost me $10. So I think I'm into these for maybe 30 cents each, 40 cents each at most. I've already sold 2 units at $12 each. Quantity listing. Normally, like I said, I'm staying away from low ASP. I don't want cheap items anymore. It's just not worth the effort. But if I can run one listing, sell 14 units, make $8 per unit across 14 units, that's $112. I'll take $112. That's fine with me. So, again, even cheap, go for quantity. It's fine. I got a bunch of Beanie Babies. I think I talked about these last week. These ones ended up getting moved into a lot. Now is the time to start looking at Beanie Babies again. Like I said, collectors aren't sure where to camp their money right now. It's really interesting to see. Even eBay is getting in on the action. I put up a post into our Patron Lounge, which is our exclusive page for patrons, and we talked about a couple of big drops that eBay is doing this month within the collector's market. Collectors do not know where they should be camping their funds, what items are coming back into trend again, what items are coming back into favor. Is there going to be a resurgence in certain categories? And there's a lot of speculators coming to the table who are willing to dance around and spend a few dollars to, get a small position within a category, whether that be old sports cards. We saw basketball cards have one of their largest months ever on eBay last month. It was absolutely insane to see that. We're seeing these big upticks right now across all markets as a whole. If you know somebody selling ridiculous amounts of Beanie Babies for filthy cheap, it's probably worth the time and trouble to go through and actually start looking those things up. Because if you would look at a shelf of books and you would bust out your phone and you would go through and you would price out a shelf of books, shelf of CDs, shelf of DVDs, it's no different than going through a trash bag full of Beanie Babies. There's going to be $10 bill, $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill pieces within that trash bag. And now, because speculators are bored, Beanie Babies might be a market for them. Who knows? But just remember, mass-produced scarcity, there's an absolute ton of the stuff out there. It is not a suggested long-term play, but in the short term, you can certainly make lots of money playing that market. So we were at this one booth, and we just got a whole bunch of stuff for cheap. We got a Hello Kitty Loot Crate X crossover piece. We got the common one, the blue one. This is worth $20 on its own. We paid about $1 for it. Picked up some Kirby Bags, another quick $20 bill. Paid $1 for this one too. This really cute pet shop costume. Again, don't forget about the animals this Halloween season. You'll get anywhere between $15 to $20 for these, depending on how they're presented. Daniel 2500 says, got a bunch of Cabbage Patch. I'm sitting on just a gamble. I'll tell you right now, start unloading those Cabbage Patch. One of the things that I've really started taking on board is cultural relevance within the collectibles market. Okay, I want you to just think back. I don't know. Let's look at Voltron, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all of these old cartoons that had products associated with them. What is going to cause anyone my age to start taking up an interest in G.I. Joes? What is going to be required for a 20-year-old kid to start liking G.I. Joe, or to start collecting lunch pails, or to start collecting Elvis memorabilia? It's not going to happen. Okay, now even certain things that have spin-offs and new items dropping. So we could even say like Power Rangers, for instance. Sure, a kid might start watching Power Rangers now at the age of 10 or 12 and have a fascination with Power Rangers by the time he's 20, but that doesn't mean that same kid is going to go back and buy a $500 or $1,000 figure that came out back in the early 90s. It doesn't work that way. So with stuff like Cabbage Patch, there's no cartoons running on air. There's no movies coming out. There's nothing that's happening right now that's going to incite that type of collectible, fury to go out and get those items again. We did see some of this happen with all those damn Marvel movies that came out, the Hulk and the Spider-Man and all the other series, and it kind of revitalized that bit of the corner. That was kind of an outside factor that kind of stoked those flames a little bit for some people, or fan the flames for them, and they started going out and collecting some of those things. And we have a lot of speculators who were investing into modern day collectibles, the stuff that was just coming out, and they're speculating it on the same way that the stuff that the 70s and 80s put out, that they were holding and doing the same thing with then. So when it comes to stuff like Cabbage Patch, I guarantee you that is going to continue to lose cultural relevance, and I don't see any other outside factors that are going to change that. So if you have a large position on that, I would say get it listed, get it sold, take what you can get right now. I don't see it getting any better. Junior Haggy says, I picked up a LA Lakers original satin jacket in the spring. I was going to wait until basketball season started and then COVID hit. So I was going to wait until next season, but maybe I should sell now. Well, sports is kind of in a very, very weird place. If it's one of those items, let's say it has historically sold for $400 or $500 over the last, 5 years. Okay, and there's nothing that's happened to indicate that the item is going to be going up or down in value anytime, I would just dump it personally, especially if you're holding on to it, and if you're holding on to it and you're speculating that it's going to go up. There's another thing too that I've learned about recently, and I really, really cannot stress this enough. There's a channel called Reserved Investments. You should go watch it. I have no working relationship with the guy. He just cranks out amazing, amazing content. There's a thing that he talks about called opportunity cost. You have a jacket right now, let's say it's worth $500. Okay. Next year it's going to be worth $500. The year after that it's going to be worth $500. And you're just hoping that it might go up. Okay. It's very tricky to try and allow your emotions, or to try and believe that your emotions can actually dictate what's going to happen within the market. And then furthermore, as far as opportunity cost is concerned, what could you do with that $500 today? Like right now? Okay, because if you could take that $500 that you're just kind of camping on, you could go out and get another $500 worth of inventory, and that $500 worth of inventory is worth $4,000. There's a lot of opportunity you're missing out on. Or even if you took that $500 and you threw it inside of a CD, or you threw it out on the S&P and you just kind of waited and let it mature over the next 5 years, you're going to get a better return than what you're going to get on that jacket. So if you're just speculating and saying, hey, I hope this is going to go up, I'll tell you right now, there's much better items to speculate on than satin jackets. And that isn't a knock to you. It's just that sometimes we get tangled up in our own goods. And this is where I disagree with him. He talks about how you should never collect something unless you have a bit of a passion for it as well. So that way when it turns, if it turns sour, you still have the goods and you don't feel bad about what happened. And I completely disagree with that. I feel that you should have no emotional connection whatsoever to the goods that you're collecting. And that's the whole adage of don't get high on your own supply. You should not be connected to your goods, because if they turn sour, okay, well, you're going to have the mindset and the foresight to say, okay, now's the time to start unloading this stuff. But if you're emotionally connected to it, if you're a huge Lakers fan, and, I know the Lakers are a strong team, they're going to come back better than ever, and this is going to turn up, you're making an emotional decision based on your investment. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful about doing things like that, because it can cost you a lot of money, because your feelings are not going to shift the market. Now, if you had, 10,000 pieces of something, and you controlled the market on it, and you made an emotional decision, then you said, I'm not going to sell these to anyone, then yeah, you have the power to sway the market. Okay, but right now you don't. And no hard feelings, but I would say if it's not moving, get it sold. Free up that opportunity, that money, and put it towards something else. But yeah, don't forget about the doggo costumes. That's what we're on. Mr. Exquisite says, same as in the stock market, you cannot love or hate your stocks. It's a tool to make more money. That is correct. Okay, you cannot say, oh, I love Tesla brand, my car, so I'm going to be fully committed to the stock as well. And I can't stress this enough. And here's the thing, okay? There's things that reserved investment says that I completely disagree with. Okay, and there's things that he says that I think are absolutely brilliant. And I've noticed that there's some people who have this very hot, cold feeling with my channel. Jay says one thing wrong, and then his entire channel's garbage. And it's kind of within the whole reseller community. But you all should be listening to me even when you disagree with me. You should sit there and be like, hey, Jay, I think you're wrong. Okay, and tell me why you think I'm wrong. And you should be listening to people that you disagree with and people that you agree with. But if they're consistently wrong and you know, like you can prove they're wrong, maybe don't listen to them. But if somebody has a difference of opinion or a different outlook on a specific topic, or like the news is very cut and dry, but they have their own interpretation of it that differs than yours, that's a good thing to listen to. That's a good thing to learn. I picked up the Shimano hub. This is just a gear hub. I paid $1 for it. They go for $16. I ran into this guy who said that his girlfriend was working to be a reseller. And the stuff that they had out there was all stuff that she should be selling online. So the odds are, for me, I think that they were just only wanting to sell higher ASP type items and they didn't want to deal with smalls, which is fine. But I mean, you're literally giving away hundreds of dollars every time you set up the swap meet, but I'll take that. I'll take that money, okay? I really did get a ton of these toothbrush heads. These things are going to fly out of here. Here's another cool little piece of tech for, you know, people who are into like arts and crafts and stuff like that. This is a Wrapmaster model 1500, and this thing holds like gift wrap paper inside of it. Hold on, I'm gonna break this thing. I know it already. There we go. Yeah, you load up your gift wrap on the interior here, and then you can pull it on through and do your press and cut and everything. And yeah. These sell for about $40. I went ahead and listed mine for $60. Mine's a much better example than the comps out there. This white plastic on most of them has turned a really foul-looking yellow. I think it has to do with like the fire retardants that they mix into the plastics. But this one looks great. It has just the slightest tinge of that yellow happening here. I'll get the full $60 on it. I paid $4 for it. Whenever you see oddball, quirky items. Actually, well, I'll just dial back for a second. Whenever you see anything you don't know, you should stop and look it up, but especially if it's something quirky like this. I picked up some of these, Yak Track Walk. The size is really important. These are extra smalls. I'm not going to make much money on these. The large and XL are always going to do better. They allow you to convert normal shoes into snowshoes. This is something that people are always looking for. Beautiful girlfriend found this, and she's actually keeping it. We were at the thrift store, and I didn't even give two seconds to stop and think about this item. This is a Pioneer Women 32-ounce mason jar with lid and decorative straw. These sell or list for around $50 on eBay, and we picked this bad boy up for $2 at the thrift store. Great piece. Good eye on her. Oh, no. The top is all dented. I didn't even realize that. And I don't think I dented it. It's got a little bit of a battle scar on the interior. Yeah, I knew I saw a mark. It's got a little bit of a mark on the inside, but we'll patch that up. But otherwise, it's a great looking piece. And the lid can probably even be switched out. But the glass is really nice. You'll see other ones. This one's tinted pink. You'll see other ones that aren't tinted that might sell for a little bit less. But these big 32-ounce ones are ones that the women love to go after, it seems. That same lady that we were just talking about a second ago, who had all that stuff that I said was like $1 each and it was worth a ton of money. We got these Loot Crate, Sanrio X Loot Crate, whatever it is, some crossover type piece. These embroidered patches, and then we also got this Pachaco pin. We picked all of this up for maybe like $3 for all 4 pieces, and these are going to sell for about $25, $35 on eBay, or even Mercari for that matter. Rain timers, great money in rain timers if you didn't know that. Especially right now, a lot of people are doing home improvement from home. This one right here is a fantastic unit. This one sells for about $80 to $100. I think we picked this one up for $5. Then this one, this X-Core right here. Man, I got something right in my eye. Whew. This X-Core one right here sells for about $35, give or take, and we paid the same $5 for it. But the thing is with this one, it'll be nice because it can actually go out first class. This one's going to be priority. Both are going to make great money. Both have been tested, and they do work just fine. Apparently with this one right here, I think it normally says Rainbird across the front. There's issues with the dial breaking on this one. So if you do have an opportunity to test it, make sure you turn the dial and it does work. I got this piece. This is going to Amazon. I already tagged it so that way I remember not to take it back downstairs. It is a stained glass kit. It's a gallery glass. What's that say? Complete rose window kit. So it has everything you need to be able to try and make your own stained glass at home. It's nice. It's really cute. This is about a $35 or $40 piece on Amazon. And now more than ever is the type of time for people to be buying this DIY, artsy, crafty type stuff at home. So I do expect it to sell as well. If you guys haven't seen, I was talking about a collectible piece that I started selling. The Freddy Jason video game themed one. We put out a buy on it, or a buy recommendation for everyone. I would say probably like 9 months ago, 10 months ago, give or take. And the buy price on those was $40. And I sold my first unit into Amazon 4 days ago for $200. So they are moving up. And we do have another buy recommendation out for all of our patrons. If you haven't visited the Patron Lounge page recently, we have a buy recommendation on some trading cards coming up right now, and I'm probably going to be looking for a lot more stuff if especially coming into the holidays, that we're going to want to keep our eyes peeled for as well. We got a couple more. Picked up this really exceptionally raunchy book. This is Santa Steps Out. This is actually a signed copy. I'm trying to see if any of these things on the back I can read out loud. It says, Robert Devereaux impregnates sacred childhood figures with the irresistible stream of his imagination and is responsible for the spectacular and unashamed rebirth of old myths. This is actually a signed, numbered copy. Picked this up at the swap meet. Paid $1 for it, surprisingly. And surprise, surprise, it's actually 2 weeks in a row that we picked up a signed item, and we had no clue at the time that we bought it that it was signed. And it has some really interesting racy graphic illustrations throughout the entire book, and they get much more intense than that. So if you're interested in a very nice piece, this is number 314. We have it listed for $100. There is one available for $40 right now. I don't feel that person listed theirs correctly, and our condition is pretty good too. I would say it's right on that edge of as new, but at a minimum, I would say it's fine. At a very minimum. This is a great question Junior Haggy asked. He said, are you going to sell that on eBay or Amazon? This is going to eBay. And it's only going to eBay because I feel that the condition and being able to see multiple photos in high resolution is going to be the actual tipping point as far as whether or not somebody's going to pay that accelerated premium price that I have on it. I'm willing to play ball. I'll take a $50 bill. I'll take a $60 bill on it. I'm not stupid. But I think if I wait long enough, this is something I'm willing to speculate on, I think I can get $100 for it. I think somebody will actually pay that. But if you're looking for a very interesting book and you want a good deal on it, you let me know. I got one more item for you guys. I think that's going to be it. And then we're just going to talk about some stuff. It's going to be a short show today. Like I said, I really just want to wrap up the week. I've worked so many hours this week. We got this really cute Tuk children's backpack. I paid $3 for it. I think it's from Australia. What's really crazy too is this the same person I bought this from, I bought a Wi-Fi adapter from, which thanks to Mike for helping me out. We believe that one's from Australia as well. Couldn't find any comps anywhere on the internet, but a really cute bag. Cheapest one available on eBay is right about $50. We're going to be running this one through to Mercari because people don't use Tuck Bag or Tuk. They don't say things like that here domestically. So we're hoping that the graphics and the imagery of it is going to be enough to propel it to actually get that sale on Mercari. But Mercari's been crushing it. I don't know if you guys haven't started yet. Definitely diversify to Mercari. Now, real quick, if anyone has any questions, we'll go and take some questions. And we're going to just kind of have a little bit of a talk here as we wrap up the show. And thank you, Junior Haggy. I am proud of those finds that we have. It's resulted in quite a few sales. And like I said, I've been running ads locally as well. We created a brand new ad this week, and we're actually targeting, believe it or not, books. Because you see all these gurus online talking about book buying, and they tell you where to go to get books. Okay, like, just go to your thrift stores, go to bookshops, yada, yada, yada. No one's talking about creating outbound ads to actually go to people's houses and buy out their entire damn libraries, which is what I'm looking to start doing here soon, because working with books would give me an opportunity to make an absolute ton of money. And people don't realize that if you stumble across like a first edition copy of Great Gatsby, you're going to make like $10,000 or $20,000 depending on the condition of the book. So that's what I'm looking for, large ASP items. So last week we talked about new money. And what does it actually take to save $10,000? And we also talked a little bit about dumb investing. People who are investing their money into dumb items. Now, it's not a problem if you're on the right side of that. If you're the person with the net out and you're saying, yes, I'll take your dollars, here's your items. Okay? Because you have to remember, one speculator to another. If I am willing to release my position on an item to somebody else who's willing to pay the premium on that item, I bought the item for, let's say, $180, and another person is prepared to buy it at $350, okay, one of us is late to the party. Okay, it's certainly not me. But by me releasing my position, I'm passing the item to him, and I'm saying, I do not believe that this item has any more room for growth. Enjoy. Because if I did believe that it had room for growth, why would I be selling it already? Something important to think about. We talked about this before. We talked about the idea of the greater fool. Because you have to keep in mind, if you do have an item that you are buying, that you are speculating on, whether it be a Lakers satin jacket or whatever the item might be, your Cabbage Patch Kid collection, you have to ask yourself, who's the buyer on that item? Who is the person that's going to take it off your hands someday? And are they actually going to pay that price? I sold a Togepi plushie today for $90. There was a greater fool out there who's prepared to pay $90 on it. Now, is that to say that Togepi plush can't get to $200 someday? I don't know. Opportunity cost, though. We'll just peg it to that. But at the end of the day, I don't need money today. But if you'd like to give me a super chat, you know where the button is. I don't need money today. So I'm looking at the items objectively. When I feel that they're at their peak, I'm going to let them go. I wanted to talk about a very interesting topic. A dollar saved is a dollar earned. Okay. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they were telling me that they were having issues with a small bill, a $50 bill, a reoccurring bill, that they didn't have the funds, and so they were holding back on that payment this month. And they said that they were having one of their worst months on eBay, and they had only sold $7,200 worth of stuff. $7,200 was one of their worst months on eBay, but it was enough to put them in a disposition where a $50 bill was a significant inconvenience for them that month. Now, I look at this as a whole, and I'm like, something's going wrong here, okay? Because your worst month is probably on par with one of my best months. When I'm going full tilt, I'll be happy to make $7,000 a month in gross sales. Now, obviously, I work with different ASP and different buy rates and stuff like that. And I said, you got to be spending too much money someplace, okay? Because we live very close together, and I know your cost of living can't be that ridiculous. And I said, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. My average meal cost is about $2, okay? On average, I spend about $2 a meal. I'm very, very frugal. He tells me his average meal cost is $12. I told him, I'm like, you realize that's an extra $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. We talk about being able to save money. This is one of the ways that we do it. So I kind of wanted to highlight some of the things that I think that, because people think, they look at this and they're like, man, Jay makes tons of money doing reselling. And I say, no, I'm just very, very lean on what I do here. I'm very, very efficient with my money. And you can either decide that I am going to be very inefficient with my money, and what ends up happening, you have to make more money then, which means you're trading time for revenue, and then revenue for things to do with your time. And you create this vicious cycle. We talked last week about how some people who are making $250,000 a year have nothing in savings. They have less savings than I do because they are running an operation where they're paying for all of these things and they have nothing left over. So as you make more money, you can make the decision. Am I going to make more money and spend more money? Or am I going to make more money and continue to spend the same? Now, a lot of us will say that we're going to do that, okay? But if you made an extra $5,000 this month, last month we watched some people make $10,000. We were talking about the stimulus checks. The unemployment insurance. Some people made an extra $10,000. And guess what? Some people spent an extra $10,000. Their cost and their expenses kept up with the money that they were making. But if you're smart, you'll scale your income and you'll reduce your cost. Okay? And remember, you are retired the day that your passive income, the money that you make just sitting by and doing nothing, is greater than your burn, the amount of money that you spend every single month. Okay? When that one passes the other and you have more money coming in than you spend every month, you are essentially retired. And my goal, I don't know if it's your goal, is to get there as quickly and as cheaply as possible. I don't buy many things for myself. When I ask, even my girlfriend, I asked her, I'm like, what was the last thing you saw me buy for me? Okay? It's a very difficult question for people to answer. Even people who know me well, even people who live with me, they don't know. Because I don't buy things for myself. Almost everything I buy has a utility or a purpose. Don't buy trinkets for yourself. Don't buy dumb items. Okay? If it's something that's going to end up at next year's yard sale, don't buy it. Okay? If you can get just as much satisfaction from looking at it at the store, look at it at the store. Don't buy it. Okay? When I do buy, I try and buy quality. Okay? I don't buy garbage shirts. I buy shirts that I can press. Okay? And they can be well maintained, and then they can stay inside of a dry cleaner bag until I want to wear them again. And then when I'm done with them, I hang them right back up. This shirt gets worn 2 hours every 3 months or so, and it gets hung right back up again. And I take care of the things I have. Okay? But if you buy quality, you're not going to have to buy them over again. You're not going to have to replace them again. I buy very few things that I want. Like I said, I focus in on things that I need. Whenever I do buy, and I have to make that big expense for whatever it might be, I do my best to buy secondhand. This camera that I'm talking to you on, the computer that's behind it, the computer that's next to it, all purchased secondhand. I didn't have to buy any of them new. I closed a sale the other day when I was talking with somebody who gave me one of those. And I was thinking about it, but I'd rather get one that's new. And I said, why buy new when you can have one that's going to look exactly like this one after you use it for the first time, but you're going to save $20? Well, that's a good point. You're probably right. I should probably get this one. Buy used when possible. Buy in quantity when possible. I don't understand why some people aren't doing this. My label rolls, okay, these little bad boys right here, I bought 100 of these at one time because it saved me $2.50 a roll. Okay, that's a considerable amount of money. It's $250 right back in my pocket by buying in quantity. Okay, buy quantity and save money. I don't care what the item is. You're buying toilet paper, Kleenex, rolls of tape, anything. Poly bags, buy them in quantity, save money. And remember, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. Always ask for the deal. I don't care where I'm at. If I'm at a thrift store, if I'm at a hotel, if I'm at a casino, it doesn't matter. I'm going to ask for the deal. I want the edge. I want that competitive edge. If you don't ask for it, you're never going to get it. And those margins truly do add up. I drive like a sane person. This is a big one right here. I see a lot of people hot rod the hell out of their cars 24/7. Okay? And they're running garbage gas, and they drive fast, and they brake hard, and they end up spending tons of money either replacing vehicles or on maintenance for vehicles. I get on the freeway, I hit the cruise control at 65 or 70 miles an hour, and I kick back and I let the car do its job. That car is going to do just as good as the last car, and it's going to comfortably make it to 150,000 miles and then get sold on to the next person. Take care of the things that you get. Mike T, $10 super chat. Buy a good meal with this bad boy. After fees and everything, I'll get $6. I don't know where I will spend that, but I will see what kind of premium $6 meal that I can get. I'm actually going to be up at Chansey Casino north of Fresno over the next 3 days. If you'd like to pop by and have a drink with me, you'd be more than welcome. I'll tell you what I'll spend it on. I'll spend it on a Jack and Coke. And the beautiful girlfriend, she asked me, she's like, so what do you want to do on your trip? I'm like, nothing. Nothing at all. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I just want to sit down. I want to read a book. I got books up here that I bought 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. Haven't even been able to read them yet. I'm going to sit out by the pool. I'm going to throw a little sunblock on, get underneath one of the cabanas, crack open one of those books, and I'm going to turn off everything that I own. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to read a damn book. I'm going to read that bad boy cover to cover. I don't want anyone to bother me. That's how I'm going to enjoy my vacation right there. But I'll tell you what, I will spend that $10 on a delicious drink that I'll enjoy while I'm out there. So thank you so much for that, buddy. As always, your support is always appreciated. And there's a handful of you out there that are one of the, like, truly the driving factors for me to continue doing this. And we might find a way to do this in a different way. It's just, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky, but we'll talk about that here later. I don't care about fancy things. I know some people are all about that luxe and that fancy, and they got to have the newest iPhone, and they got to have the Michael Kors bag, and they got to have the bling this and the flashy that. It doesn't matter to me. And frankly, I could give a shit less what anyone else thinks about the clothing that I'm wearing, or my glasses, my haircut, my watch, the type of car I drive, the shoes that I'm wearing, the pants I have on. It does not matter to me. If they're quality and they make me happy, that's all that matters. I see so many people chasing these dumb trends, and they just want these cool looking things. It's not worth it. Save your money. $1 saved is $1 earned. Okay, when you waste these money, okay, it doesn't come back as easy as you spend it. I do cheap trips rather than going on these stupid expensive ones. I go where I can get free or low cost hotels, and I spend the rest of my time and money on the experience of it rather than nonsense trinkets or just really high cost things. And then when it comes to my margins here with eBay and when I'm buying, I pay next to nothing for my goods. And I understand there's certain people's business model is to spend $400 on an item and then sell it for $700 and make like 200 some odd bucks on each sale. Cool. Good for you. Okay. I'll tell you right now, you can make tons of money working smalls every single month. Be conscious of your margins on everything that you do. Okay, even those monthly subscriptions are going to add up over time. People don't look at the yearly cost, they look at the monthly cost. There are so many ways to be frugal and then in turn work less. This is what I told him last night. I said, is it worth it to have, $12 meals every single meal, but then end up having to work an extra 30 hours every month? I'd rather have the 30 hours back. I'd rather do literally nothing for 30 hours and eat my $2 meal. Brandy Hunter says, buy the thing, enjoy it, sell it when you lose interest. Denying yourself can trigger a binge for some. And sure. Okay. We each have our own needs when it comes to financial spending. But what I'm referring to is a lot of the nonsense buys that people make, or people who get in the habit of nonsense money spending, where it's not even the matter of what they're getting, it's the act of spending the money, or it's the rush of having something new, or they get into a habit of, I only eat out dinners. I don't make myself dinner. I only eat those things out. And you build really, really bad habits. It's like cigarettes, honestly. If you get used to spending $10 a day on a pack of smokes and that just becomes an acceptable expense for you over time, you're going to continue to do it. And some people can get to a $12 meal as an acceptable expense and they can continue to do it over time. I just run a very, very lean operation. It allows me to keep a lot of money in my pocket. Thank you for the comment. Someone just said, I sold a set of As Seen on TV furniture movers in 6 hours for full price. Good on you. Get those max margins. Last chance for questions. If anyone has any questions before we jump off air, I'm going to be gone again for the next 2 weeks. This census has got me working hard. They got me doing 40 hours a week right now. Obviously, I can pick my hours on it, but I'm not going to say no when I'm making like an extra $1,500 a week doing work for them. It's absolutely bonkers money, and they're only going to be doing the operation for the next 2 months. I should be back in 2 weeks, but if I'm not, then you guys know where I'm going to be at. We got another comment. La Perfumery, I'm on managed payments as of 2 to 3 days ago. Everything went smoothly. No payouts yet, though. Good on you. I'm happy to hear that. definitely keep making those monies. Oh, I also want to point out too, I don't know if I put my slideshow up on screen at any point or not, but we want to give a extra special thank you to all of our patrons who make this possible, with a special thank you to Ashley, Brandy, Rob, Tina, JRB, Mr. Exquisite, Mike, and let's give an extra special thank you to Rhiannon as well, La Perfumery, Junior Haggy. We just give us thanks to everyone today for being here. If you do want to check it out, okay, I say this every single show. This is literally the only thing that's going to keep us on air coming into 2021. Visit the Patreon link. I'll throw it in the comments right now. Not going to twist your wrist, but I am going to stress this just one more time. You are doing yourself a disservice if you do not become a part of this community. Okay? You're really shooting yourself in the foot. If you can't find $20, okay, to invest into this, you're doing something wrong. I guarantee you, I cannot stress this enough. If you give me your $20, I will show you how to make 100. It's just that simple, but I'm going to do it every single week for the rest of your damn life. Okay? So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't come join us. I think that's everything for today. As Brandy said, hit that like button if you enjoyed this content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want more fantastic content. If you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, let me know. And we are going to start producing stuff that is non-reseller related here soon. Maybe make a second channel, maybe just do something completely different with this channel. But we're going to have some fun. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. And as always, is my music playing? Where's my music? There we go. As always, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great evening.